Welcome to today's program. My name is Jael Msumba, and today I'm hosting Harrison Mwaura. This is a psychologist who was once hooked in alcohol. So he's going to tell us how far did alcohol take him and how he had to come out of it. So for full details, let's get his story. Hi Harrison, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you for creating time and welcome to the program. I would like you to introduce yourself and give us your story.
So, my name is Harrison Mwaura. I'm an addiction counselor. I'm a psychologist. I was born in Nakuru, raised there from a family of 5. I'm the 4th born, and today I prefer I share my story so that it can inspire another person. So those who are still struggling, and they hear, I also heard my story from another person, and after hearing their story, I decided, let me share mine. Somebody should be addicted and they'll get help from there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So give us your story.
So I was born in 1988 from I would say a poor background or higher background. My family was average. Yeah, here and there they could pay the school fees. Was taken to boarding school at an early age, 9 years old, a school in Naivasha, and from there I continued. Life was normal, the visitings and so on, having people from Nairobi, but us we are from Shags. When I was in class 7, I tasted my first alcohol. Out of maybe the peer pressure, I decided to taste my first alcohol. And I remember we had 60 shillings, we bought 4 sachets. By then it used to cost 10 bob. But fortunately the government banned that alcohol. We took 2 and my friend took 2. And to be honest, I felt really good. I had never felt that good. I remember going home, I was doing people like this. Hi. I felt so high. Going home, I don't know what happened. I think my sister took me to the bedroom and slept. So the parents did not notice. That was the beginning of my alcoholism journey. Going to high school, the visiting days, midterm, I used to drink alcohol, and here I used to hide. But the good thing, I was bright. So the teachers never used to notice that this boy is not okay, because my performance was okay. But I still had a lot of problems with my late father. He will complain, you are drinking. But since my performance was good, it was not that bad. So I finished.
When did they notice that you are indulging in alcohol?
Still in high school. They used to see we close school today, but not go home today. I'll go school, I'll go home the next day. So they used to notice it, but with a lot of beatings. But I did not listen to them. I was just mischievous. So after finishing Form 4, and I did well. I got a B+. And I was admitted to Kimathi University, and I did, that's what to do BCom. Now going to campus, you see I have the money, and I have the government money.
And all the freedom.
All the freedom now. You see my parents are in Nakuru, and I'm in Nyeri. That's where now my problems started happening. I remember by first year, I was suspended from the university the first weekend, because we drank a lot of alcohol and we went bullying some Matatu people. So they took us to the management and we were suspended for close to a month. Came back to school, continued studying. By the time I was finishing my first year, I was already alcoholic. To the point that I could not take light beers. I was now only taking the hard liquor now. Second year, I went to do my CAT, an exam drunk, and the lecturer noticed. And she gave me a soup. And I had to defer for 1 year. You can imagine now, going home for 1 year, and I drank a lot of alcohol. That was the first time I went to rehabilitation center. My parents said, this guy is drinking a lot, let us try to save him. Took me to my first rehab. Fortunately, I went and recovered, came back, and I finished campus. I graduated well, and God has been good. And I got a job to work as a banker, one of the banks in Kenya. They posted me to Mombasa. Now I have money. I'm still alcoholic.
And you're single.
And I'm single, not yet married. And I'm working in Mombasa, alone, Mombasa Raha. I drank a lot of alcohol. I remember that was in 2015. During my first year as a banker, I was so alcoholic to the point I was serving customers well drunk. And unfortunately, the management, hey, this guy cannot continue working here unless he decides to change. And I decided to change. They took me now, I was given 3 months unpaid leave. You go and decide whether you want to stop alcohol or not. So I went to my second, now this is my second rehab now. Went to rehab second time, did I think 2 months, came back to work, but this time I decided I'm not going to drink alcohol. Now I'll be serious with life because the bank has given another chance to continue working.
And it was a good management, because
It was a good.
if it was a different company, you'll be fired
I'll
straight
be
away.
fired straight away. I really appreciate that bank, the one that was there. They gave me another chance. I came back. By then, in fact, they were even paying my medical for the rehab. They did well. So came back and I decided I'm not going to drink again. So now sober, first year, and
Full year.
full year,
Without
and I even got a wife by the way from there. You see, I had changed. I even got a son. Now I'm sober. Problem happened. I was introduced to betting, sports betting. These games that we bet, Manu is playing this, Arsenal is playing this game, and I used to place those a lot of motive bets, a lot of jackpots. Kumbe now I'm from alcoholism to gambling, to betting addiction now, and this time I'm not drinking. But at night, I remember when I used to sleep, my wife used to say that, hey, boss, who are you chatting with at night, this late o'clock? And she used to peep like this. Oh, kumbe, you're not chatting, but you're betting. I remember during the day, I would call my child like this, and my phone is here. That was the betting that was there. So now, you know, in betting is not, you don't invest in betting. So I ended up losing a lot of money to the point that my salary was not enough. Now I had to take money from the bank.
So how much were you investing in that betting? Like at a starter, how much did you start with, and how did it graduate?
At a start, I started with 50 bob. But by the time I was done, I could place even 20,000 or 10,000 at a go. And in a matter of 90 minutes, that money that I have lost the game, 20K is gone. And I was starting to be depressed. And I remember one time I had a balance of 600, a debt of 600,000. I had accumulated out of gambling. I had accumulated them, but still I'm continuing to gamble, thinking that this month I will win and refund the money and repay the other one. So it continued. By the time I was through with it, I had lost over 1.2 million. Over 1.2 million. Now I was in a total debt of 1.2 million. I don't know now what to do. You see, nimefika mwisho. I don't know what to do. And
this money you are taking from the bank, or you are taking from people?
You see, I was just borrowing from the bank. Naficha tu pole pole. So
different bank or same bank?
Same bank where I was. Unfortunately, I was discovered and I was fired. Now, beginning of another problem. I am alcoholic. I was alcoholic, now I'm a gambler. I don't have money.
And you are in debt.
And I'm in debt. Luckily, somebody came through, paid that money, and I'm really grateful for that bank, because when I paid the money, they withdrew the case, and that's it now. That's why I'm free today. But problem did not end there. You see, now I've been alcoholic, now I'm a gambler. Now I don't have money to gamble. What do? I revert back to alcohol. I revert back to alcohol again. Now I drank, started selling my things. I remember I sold everything. I sold everything to the point that I was even selling my shoes. I sold my TV for a TV that I bought for over 20,000. I sold it for 1,500 to finance my drinking. I had a wife. She could not sustain me again because it was my problem anyway. It was my issue because I was drinking. She really tried to support me, but all in vain. I had to lose
that. And at that point, where were your parents?
My parents now, and I think when problems come, what do I say? Problems come of them. You know, when I was losing my bank job, my father died that time. So you see, I'm dealing with losing a job. I'm dealing with losing my father, and thankfully, my mother was there. I remember she was the one who came she sent somebody to come and pick me from Mombasa. Because if she sent the money, I'll drink the money. I only come back to
at that time you are still in Mombasa?
I'm still in Mombasa. All this problem happening in Mombasa. So she was told, hey, your son is drinking a lot. I don't know, because maybe the father died and he lost the job. He has a lot of stress. I had a barber shop. I can use the barber shop. Now I was even selling it. I had a cereal shop. It is closed because I've gambled all the money, I've drank all the money. Now I'm zero. You can imagine a banker who was doing well. You can imagine there were bank addresses. Now it is me now.
Suits
and so on and trying.
Cards.
Yeah, now it is me now. I'm so hopeless in life. I have nothing. I'm so zero. I wouldn't even afford a 10 bob. I'm depending now on handouts because I've sold everything.
And at that point, where are your siblings? Did they notice that they need to hold your
Oh, to
hand?
hold. Now, they were holding my hand, but you see the problem now, I'm in Mombasa, all of them are in Nairobi.
That is a big challenge.
So,
you are alone there.
Yeah, along there. So they decided, since this person is alone in Mombasa, let us go and take him from Mombasa. At least he come back to Nakuru. We can see whether he can get another job. They were very supportive whether he can get another job and pick up again. But so my cousin came, picked me up from Mombasa, came back to Nakuru. But in Nakuru, I was drinking a lot. So my mother decided, instead of you staying here in Nakuru, can you go to Nairobi, stay with your brother, and see whether you can get a job there. But you see now, don't forget that I'm still I'm not yet healed. I'm still alcoholic and I'm still gambling. So coming back to stay with my brother in Nairobi, I really care for my brother because I terrorized that guy. Zach, my bro Zach, I owe you a lot. You know, I sold even his shoes.
Really?
I sold even his shoes. A lot of things in his house. I remember I sold even another.
At that time, he was staying alone, or he was also married?
He was not married. I was staying with my brother. He just came here. He gave me one of his bed. You stayed there. And as I was working, I used to take some small things. The capacity, and I go and sell even an iron box. Shoes. Itoshi. I come back again. I remember even sold his Masai lesson for, was it 90 shillings? Masai? I sold the Masai lesson for 90 shillings. So now, I'm in Nairobi now, still drinking. It reached a point now where now the alcoholism now is so worse. I'm even selling stuff. And the last thing I remember I sold was my laptop. The one they had bought me so that I can be doing online jobs. Unfortunately, I sold that laptop. And my brother came and told me, well, you have reached now. Up and now, this one you can't assist him now. And that is when help came through. They sat as a family and they said, this guy, I think you need to take him to a rehabilitation center. You see whether he can regain something. And I remember that morning, my brother told me, hey, Harrison, you wake up. I'm going to take you to a treatment center to go and you see whether you'll be assisted. But I could never wake up. I could not wake up because I had a lot of hangovers in the morning. You see, I needed a drink to sustain myself. I needed a drink to function. And you see, there was no drink in the morning. So I remember even him sending for somebody to bring me alcohol. But I told him, that alcohol you are buying, I don't know that one. Me, I want the cheap liquor. The cheap liquor is the one that will
boost your body.
will boost my body again. Now he was telling you are my bro. How can I buy you alcohol with 100 shillings? Let me buy you the expensive one. I'm a partner.
I need that cheaper one.
I need that cheaper one.
To restart my system.
And when the alcohol was bought, I remember it's a Boda guy who brought it. By the time he was giving, I just opened it half, drank half dry. That's when I made, hey, kumbe, this guy has a problem. And after taking that, I wake up well, nikakula vizuri, and he took me to rehabilitation center. I remember it was April 9th. It was on a Friday. April 9th, 2021. 2021. He took me there. Yeah, I was admitted there. I stayed in the rehabilitation for 3 months. But this time, because I had lost everything, and I thought that I was almost dying because I think I had lost close to 20 kgs. And you can see me a big body. I had lost over 20 kg. I remember when I was going to the rehabilitation center, my boxer, it was cut. Can you imagine a skirt boxer? It was torn. The shoes I was wearing unmatched socks. Because I had reached my rock bottom. So in the rehabilitation center, I decided, hey, I'm going now to change. And I remember one day on Tuesday, I was watching a story. Somebody narrating his story, how he had even sold his doors. She's a lady. She was narrating how she had sold his doors, even auctioned his bed, everything, and she was left empty. Luckily, the father came and rescued her. So I decided this case is the same as mine. Same as mine. I had lost everything. I had lost my family, all this money. I'm in debt. People are weighing me. I don't have even clothes. And I decided I'm going to give it a chance. Since I've stayed only for 2 days without alcohol and smoking, I can make a difference. And that was now the beginning of my recovery journey in the rehab. Dealing with my issues, forgiving myself for the things that I did. I remember telling you that I went to boarding school in class 3. forgiving myself for all that happened in class 3, boarding school, the bullying and so on. A lot of things that had accumulated that I have never dealt with them. So I dealt with them in the rehabilitation center. By the end of the 3 months, I was doing so well to the point that the owner of that rehab, and God bless her soul, she passed away by the way. So sorry, may she rest in peace. She told me, Harrison, I'm not going to let you go. Since you are not working anywhere, you are fired from the bank, I'll give you a job here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she gave me a job as an accountant in the rehabilitation center. And through working there as an accountant, I decided, let me go back to school. And that is how I started my counseling journey. And that is, so from there, I've been helping people. Today, I receive a lot of messages. Today, I receive a lot of hope. People telling me, Harrison, why it's not for you sharing your story? I would still be there. And addiction is real. I lost so much, but today, I've almost recovered everything. And by God's grace, I know I will go far. And I hope people, when people hear my story, they'll decide to change it. They can also make a brighter future ahead.
So, Harrison, I would like to understand, because most of the parents, right now, most of the parents, they are so busy to an extent of not seeing issues from their children is quite hard. And I would like you to give us step by step. How can someone notice that my kid is not well, my husband is not well? What are the first signs and signs that someone can tell that this person is somehow heading to addiction?
Now, I can see maybe using my story, you see, I went to boarding school in class 3. I was 9 years old. As a parent, you have the first responsibility for taking care of the child. You can't be going to work at 7 and coming home at 9. There is even no time for your child. In the weekend, you're still working. So as a parent, you are supposed to be there. And you see, I don't blame my parents for taking me to a boarding school. You see, they were brought up through hardship, and they wanted the best education for me. They wanted a good life for me. That's why they even took me to the best schools. They took me to class 3 when I was 9 years old. And you see, I can say they were not even there during my childhood, but not for a bad reason, because they wanted the best for me. So as a parent, you can see where your child is going through. Has he changed his friends? You see, I remember I stopped going to church when I was in class 7. I remember one time my mom told me, Harrison, can you go and take this milk in the morning? I don't know, it was on a Sunday. So I went and took the milk, never came back. I came back at 11. So I was already late for church. So the small things that you can see a change. Hey, this time, he's not going to church. He has changed his friendship. He has been, my son used to wake up by 7. Nowadays, he is waking up by 10. The small changes, small mistakes that he start going. Don't ignore them. Be playing games with them. Look at their results, how they are doing. Even go to school, how are they doing? I remember when I was in high school, there was a time, I remember my father took me to the first psychiatric hospital while I was in class 7? Was it in Form 3?
Really?
Yeah.
What was happening?
What had happened, I remember we had closed school on Thursday. I used to close school on Thursday, but I went home the following day on Friday. And I told them, Mom, we have closed school today. Unfortunately, somebody that used to work with my mother saw me on Thursday. So when they are discussing during their work time, your son came yesterday, and my son has closed school today. You see, they started realizing it there.
Something is wrong somewhere.
Something is wrong somewhere. So, and they never knew that this son is developing addiction, alcoholism. They thought it's something that maybe of bad behavior. If they had you see, then they said it's bad company. Instead of noticing the disease of alcoholism. If they had noticed it was alcoholism, then they would have treated it at an earlier age. So I always say, when you see your son developing maybe a problem with drug, don't deal with the drug. You see, when I was in the institution, they did not deal with the drug. They started understanding. So where was this boy taken to at an early age? Why did this boy indulge in alcoholism? You see, it was because of the bullying that I was trying to escape. And you see, I hadn't stayed with my parents for a longer time and my brothers and so on, because I was away. So
you had no bonding.
I had no bonding with them. So now they had not to understand this guy. He's always associated with drunkards because he's a social person. Doesn't associate with the family. Associates with outside.
What prompted for your first psycho class?
Now it was now because now my education has deteriorated. I remember when I was in Form 1, the first exam that we did in Form 1, I was, I think, top 10 out of 200. But by the time I was finishing Form 1, Form 1 that term, I was number 72. And my dad realized this person is not doing okay. From number 10 to number 72, and you're a bright person. I remember now January, he did not give me pocket money. He said, why not change your performance? That is when I give him more pocket money. So nikajua, okay, so if I perform well, there'll be pocket money. So that is when our addiction now elevated, because now I have pocket money and I'm reading. So in Form 3, after all this struggle, my dad realized, hey, this person is not okay. Let me take him to a psychiatric hospital. So I went to the psychiatric hospital and he gave me medication. He told me, I can see you have a problem with alcohol, but I'll give you medication. They'll make you not to drink. So after giving me the medication for not taking alcohol, I used to vomit. So I decided, how can you give me medication to vomit? So I put the medication, I dropped the mind, and I continued with my alcohol. You see, those were the right side. If they had discovered this person has a problem, then I would have been assisted that. But then again, you see sometimes parents they blame themselves. It was not their problem, it was my problem.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Every decision you make has some consequences.
Yeah. All the decisions, they have to start from you.
Yeah, be it good or bad, it is your decision that you made.
Yeah, that should make. And today I look at parents, all of them, they tell me, oh, my son is doing this, my daughter is doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. All I can say, be there for them and don't be an enabler. What I mean by being an enabler, parents, you really enable your children to continue taking alcohol or any other drug that they are. You find them in problems and you bail them out.
Yeah, sure.
You bail them. I remember at one time, you protect them. I remember at one time I called my mother. I remember it was around 3 o'clock at night. And I told her, hey, Mom, I have been arrested. Can you give me 3,000 to do this and this and this? And I've been bailing me out. Out of being a loving parent, she bailed me out and I continued drinking. But coming to treatment, she was told, stay away from Harrison, let Harrison deal with his issues alone. And no more bailing out, no more doing out. And that is how I was able to deal with my issues. You have to let your children be a child. Let them take responsibility.
Harrison, I'd like you to give us the highlight of your problems while in that alcohol. What are some of the worst things that happened to you when still in an addiction zone?
Now, I can say that the worst thing that happened during my addiction was losing my family. You can imagine having your own child, a child that I have named after my father. And now, you can no longer be with them. And I remember at one time, my son was telling me, Daddy, buy me whiz. He used to say whiz instead of juice. And I have only 20 bob, and the juice used to cost 25 shillings. And I used to give him 20 shillings, go and buy the juice there. When else I know the juice will cost 25 shillings, I don't have the extra 5 shillings to give my son and go and buy juice. Today, I always remember that moment, that I was not able to take care of my child. A child that I have named after my own father. I was not able to provide even financially. You see, addiction led me to the point that I could not talk face to face with my wife because I sold a lot of things in the house. I sold a lot of stuff in the house. Being broke. You see now, going to the point that I'm not bathing. I remember there was a time during my addiction, I would just say like, I was smelling like, today I'm not smelling, so today I'm not bathing. And I just go to clubs. You see, it took me to rock bottoms. It stole everything. It stole, today I'm so happy that I can go now home, buy everything. My mother can trust me again.
Harrison, as we head to the end, I'm sure we have those people who could be struggling in the same addiction zone, and they wish to be hooked out. What are some of the key elements that they should follow for them to be a sober person?
One of the key elements that you have to for you to get out of addiction is dealing with the guilt and shame. You have to face the consequences. One of the principles of addiction, or one of the principles of recovery, we normally say that you have to deal with guilt, transcending guilt, shame, and stigma. I did so many things to people, including stealing from my brother and lying to my former wife, and so on and so on and so on. You have to be ready to forgive yourself. That this is the past, and today I've forgiven myself. Because today I still walk in the streets, and I look at people who were schooling the Kimathi. Some of them are doing better than me now. But you see, I had wasted myself. So I forgave myself all that. And more so,
acceptance is key first.
Acceptance is key. Another thing, you have to have support. You have to have support from family and from friends. There was a time, I remember, this is Nairobi. There was a time I was conned 13,000. Very recently, I was conned 13,000. And I was so stressed because I don't have another money, any other money to go and do whatever I wanted to do. So I had to call one of my friends, and I told, hey, Ransom, I've been called this amount of money, and I feel like so distressed. Harrison, don't worry. Last week I lost this money. You see, you have to have a strong support system. My family has supported me. My brother has supported me. I have close friend that has supported me. So another point you have to have is a strong support system, and be ready to forgive yourself and ready to move on. And always know you are not alone.
So, Harrison, as we wrap up, you told us that right now you are pursuing.
Yeah, now I'm done with doing addiction counseling, and by January, I'm starting to do my master's in counseling psychology.
Good.
Yeah.
So there could be people probably they would like to meet you and probably get some psycho talk with you. So they would like to probably, where will they get you? And then as you close it, I also want you to talk to those in addiction. One word that you can tell them, what can you advise them, or what journey can you tell them to follow?
So thank you very much for listening to me. So as I've said, my name is Harrison. I own very soon I'll be starting my own rehabilitation center. And if you want to find me, I'm an addiction counselor. We can walk through the journey together. I take you all through the steps for you to recover. I can share my number. My number is 0724 149 965. 0724 149 965. I'm based in Nairobi. I have an office in Kahawa Sukari where I do all my counseling. I also have a Facebook page, Harrison Mwaura Irongo. Also my YouTube channel, Harrison Mwaura. I've recorded so many videos there. You can watch and you'll change.
So thanks so much, Harrison.
Thank you.
Nimeshukuru sana kwa kutenga muda na kuja mahali hapa.
I'm also happy for hosting me today. I know you have changed your life.
Definitely you will.
Yeah.
It will. It will be so impactful. Your story is so impactful.
Thank you very much. Asante sana.
To my good viewers, that marks the end of our conversation today. Till next time, I'm your host, Jalm Sumba.